Welcome to Sports Doctor. Sports Doctor is a live presentation, so we encourage you to call into the show and ask your questions on injury, rehab, training, or technique. We'll be taking your calls shortly. Call 767-8884 for your direct line to Sports Doctor. Here's your host for tonight's program, medical reporter Joe Chapana.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for another edition of Sports Doctor, brought to you by Cross Keys Physical Therapy Sports Medicine Center in Sicklerville, Woodbury, and Berlin, and coming very soon to Washington Township. I'm Joe Chapana. We are live for the next half hour, and we are brought to you by Cross Keys Physical Therapy Sports Medicine Center. They're offering free evaluations for the next 2 weeks, no matter what your sports injury may be. And at the end of the program, we'll be giving you numbers to schedule an appointment to take advantage of that offer. Every week, we feature a sports-related injury topic, and no matter what the topic is, supplements, nutrition, diet, it all comes to play. So tonight, we're focusing in on those three things: diet, exercise, and supplements. If you believe you are what you eat, tonight could be a good program for you, and we encourage you to call in with your question. Our toll-free line is 1-888-634-7488. Locally, we have a number at 856-767-8884, and we also have an email address if you prefer to email your question, wpsjtv@aol.com. Let's meet our panel who will be answering your questions tonight. First of all, we have Robert Ent, who is a physical therapist with Cross Keys. He is joining us tonight as a single man, but may not be at the end of the program. Next to him is Andy Chalari, who is also a physical therapist with Cross Keys Physical Therapy. And next to him is Dr. Francis Meotcer, who is on the New Jersey Governor's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports. Dr. Meotcer is a national-level competitive bodybuilder and has won the Natural American Bodybuilding Championship. Dr. Meotcer practices with Family Medicine Associates with locations in Williamstown, Morristown, and Vineland. And as the Natural American Bodybuilder, that requires the use of no steroids? How does that work?
That is correct. It's a drug-tested competition, so it's all the athletes are drug-free.
We're going to talk about steroids and steroid replacement supplements a little bit later on in the program. But first, let's start with the vitamin question, Dr. Meotcer. Do you think a person needs a multivitamin supplement?
Joe, I think if you had the perfect diet, all natural foods, and you would not need a multiple vitamin, but I don't think any of us eats a perfect diet. So I think individuals of all ages, my daughter Sarah, my son Frank, our youngsters 9 and 4, they take a chewable vitamin every day, so you can get it into the youngsters. I think individuals our age, approaching middle age, should take a good basic one-a-day supplement, not spend a fortune. They don't need the multi-packs with 30 different pills, but I think one-a-day multiple vitamin is very complete, containing all the basic minerals, vitamins, antioxidants, trace elements that you need that you may not be getting in the perfect diet. And the elderly absolutely should be taking a multiple vitamin every day.
And even if you were eating the perfect diet, I understand the food that we eat today is just not as nutritious as it was a while ago.
That's correct, Joe. The foods, I think, are so processed nowadays that they're washed out. A lot of the value is taken out of them. A lot of the breads and grains and cereals that we eat are they're trying to refortify them, but it's not the same as the basic food. The vegetables, the fruits, they're canned, they're washed out of all their food value. So it's just more than essential to take a multivitamin every day.
Okay, let's talk about glucosamine. You certainly see that popping up everywhere. And let's throw this question at Robert Ent. Glucosamine and chondroitin sulfate, what do they do? How do they work?
Yeah, they're substances they're found throughout the body, and they're key components in the formation of articular cartilage and the spongy material that surrounds our bones and our joints. Osteoarthritis is a degenerative joint disease that occurs when the buildup of cartilage does not catch up to the breakdown of cartilage. So, especially in our weight-bearing joints such as our knees and our hips. The rationale for the use of chondroitin sulfate is, now if you introduce those to your diet, then you'll break that cycle of the breakdown, the build up. So it is important for us to participate in a proper exercise routine in addition to weight loss, joint conservation, and proper medication.
So glucosamine alone may not be the answer, but in combination with other things?
Yeah, they can be found to have been helpful, but studies right now are inconclusive. There's some large-scale studies going on right now, but the early evidence says they're pretty good, and we'll know for sure within a few years.
Okay, and another thing we always hear about needing buildups of in our diet is calcium. And Dr. Meotcer, how much calcium does someone need, and can you get calcium in the diet, or do you have to have a supplement with that as well?
For calcium, and again, individuals of all ages need calcium every day. It's particularly important for people getting older. The postmenopausal female, it is critical. Also for males as they age, because both males and females can develop osteoporosis, which is bone loss with aging. And it leads to compound fractures, compression fractures, and they end up in Dave and Rob's and Andy's office getting treatment for that. So to try to do preventive measures, calcium is very key. Weight-bearing exercise, walking is important, but calcium 1,500 milligrams a day for that population, that high-risk population. Now, you can get calcium in your foods. An average serving of a milk product, a dairy product, a yogurt, cheese is about 250 milligrams of calcium. So if you're taking a couple supplements a day of calcium, usually 500 milligrams per supplement, that's 1,000. A couple servings a day of a high calcium food, another 500, you get the 1,500 milligrams a day of calcium.
Okay, we are watching Sports Doctor here tonight, brought to you by Cross Keys Physical Therapy Sports Medicine Center, Sicklerville, Woodbury, and Berlin. They're offering free evaluations for the next 2 weeks. We're going to give you those numbers at the end of the program. In the meantime, we are talking about diet, exercise, supplements. I know you have lots of questions about this, and if you'd like to voice them, you may call us toll-free at 1-888-634-7488. Locally, it is 856-767-8884. We also have an email address for you at wpsjtv@aol.com. We mentioned antioxidants, free radicals. Let's talk about them. Robert Ent, can they make you more healthy?
Well, free radicals are byproducts of the reactions that occur in our system. The free radicals act like rust in our cellular system. And what antioxidants do, they're there to counter-react that rust-like that occurs. Some good forms of antioxidants are like red wine, grapes, broccoli, blueberries, vitamin C and E, and also chocolate. Chocolate has a lot of phenols in it and has been shown to decrease cardiovascular disease and also increase good cholesterol. So it's good news for all the chocolate lovers out there.
This is the first show we've done where we're telling you to eat chocolate and drink wine. This
Only
is
moderation,
great.
though.
Moderation, if it's the key, and of course, don't drive. Dr. Meotcer, how can diet lower cholesterol?
I think diet is an essential component of any cholesterol-lowering program. Obviously, watching the fats, watching the cholesterol in diet, the total amount of cholesterol, ideally under 200 a day. Your fat content, it can be variable, but the literature tells us less than 30% fat in the foods that you eat. Personally, I think you should shoot for less than 20% fat in the foods that you eat. And picking foods that are higher quality fats, the unsaturated poly and monounsaturated fats, almonds, for an example. People thought for years that all nuts were bad. Now we've shown that some of the fats, such as are in almonds, are actually good for combating heart disease and also help with your lipid profile and your cholesterol numbers.
What are some other examples of good fat versus bad fat?
The omega-3 fatty acids are outstanding for lowering cholesterol. It's a good fat. You can get it in foods, cold water fish, salmon, mackerel, cod. You can get it in certain vegetables. You can get it in certain nuts. But it does come as a supplement. You can go to the food store, to the health food store, and get it as a supplement, the omega-3 fatty acids.
Okay, let's talk about diabetes. A lot of diabetics watching the show. Diet as a treatment for diabetes, what are some things to think about?
I think for diabetics, there's two main components to any non-medication program that they want to try initially to control their blood sugar, and it also works well in conjunction with medication for diabetics that are either taking oral medications or on insulin. One is obviously exercise, walking, bike riding, something low intensity, but it's essential to help the body utilize those blood sugars. They should also, with their food intake, moderation is the key, as Rob said, but they should watch their intake of starches, because the starches are such concentrated sugars. People don't realize that starch is sugar. Bread, potatoes, pasta, rice. Very often I'll tell patients that those need to be limited, moderation, or the much smaller servings, and their jaw will drop because they'll say, that's all I like, that's all I eat. I say the proteins are fine, the greens are fine, the fruits are fine, but they really have to be careful with the starches, because the glycemic index, the sugar content of those foods, is sky high, some of them higher than refined sugar.
Okay, so watch those breads. We're going to go to the phone lines, toll-free numbers 1-888-634-7488. Also locally, 856-767-8884. Taking questions about diet, exercise, and supplements on this edition of Sports Doctor. We have Holly waiting from Williamstown. Holly, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Go right ahead with your question for us.
I wanted to direct this question to Bob, and I wanted to know, during a weight loss program, which percentage would be diet and which percentage would be exercise? Or would that be an equal percentage? You're starting a new weight loss program.
Starting a new weight loss program, what should they emphasize, diet or exercise?
I'll tell you, diet is one of the largest components of that, like at least 50% diet, and exercise is about 30%. The other 20% would just be, participating in recreational activities.
Okay, thank you for the call, Holly. Again, our toll-free number is 1-888-634-7488. I know, Dr. Meotcer, you're into bodybuilding. For those washboard abs, is it diet the key, or is it exercise?
I think it's a combination of both, and if you want to drop your body fat to the lowest degree, you have to watch your fat intake. You have to go on a very strict low-fat diet, probably 10% or less. You have to watch the calories, the total number of calories that you take in each day, and you have to do the cardiovascular training, 5-6 days a week if you're looking to get your body fat down.
Okay, well, we're going to take a short break here. I want to remind you that you're watching Sports Doctor, brought to you by Cross Keys Physical Therapy Sports Medicine Center, Sicklerville, Woodbury, and Berlin. We're talking about diet, exercise, and supplements. More of your phone calls at 1-888-634-7488 when we return right after this.
Hi, I'm Kevin Ross from the Kansas City Chiefs. When I need physical therapy, I chose Cross Keys Physical Therapy, one of the leading rehab centers in South Jersey.
Cross Keys Physical Therapy offers aquatic therapy programs that will help you strengthen weak muscles and improve your flexibility. Our highly skilled physical and occupational therapists are experienced with working with athletes and non-athletes alike. So if you need to get back to work or back to play,
Cross Keys Physical Therapy, Sicklerville, Woodbury, and Berlin.
Hello there, this is Joe Chapana inviting you to join us for our next Kessler Healthline Thursday night, March 21st, 9 p.m. We'll be with Dr. Mark DeMacy. He's a gynecologist. We'll be talking about perimenopause and menopause. Find out what they are and how they can affect you. We'll take your calls for Dr. DeMacy on our next Kessler Healthline. And we are back. It is Sports Doctor, brought to you by Cross Keys Physical Therapy Sports Medicine Center, Sicklerville, Woodbury, and Berlin. Tonight we're talking about diet, exercise, and supplements. With us tonight to answer your questions on this topic, we have Robert Ent and Andy Cholari, both physical therapists with Cross Keys Physical Therapy, and also Dr. Francis Meotcer, who is practicing family medicine with Family Medicine Associates in Williamstown, Morristown, and Vineland. And also, he's won the Natural American Bodybuilding Championship. And we should talk about exercise. A lot of people looking to begin exercise programs. Under what circumstances, doctor, should someone see a physician before they begin?
I think that any individual that is not used to exercising, is not involved with the program, should see their physician before beginning a program. Obviously, someone that's young has no medical conditions at all, has no potential risk factors for cardiovascular disease, heart attack, or stroke. And once you just begin a basic walking program, if they started at low intensity, 15 minutes a day, working up to 30 to 45 minutes a day, 5 days a week, they would probably be okay. But any individual 35 or older with potential risk factors in their family should probably see their physician before beginning any exercise program.
Okay, and another thing they tell you before you begin an exercise program is to stretch. Andy, how important is stretching to an individual?
Well, stretching is very important, Joe. As a matter of fact, in therapy, we use it as a tool for increasing flexibility and range of motion. But for the individual, stretching actually increases their flexibility and allows the muscles and ligaments and tendons to be more pliable, and allows them to perform more activities with less chance of injury. So it's very important to get on a good stretching routine.
How long should a typical stretching routine last?
A good 15-20 minutes before, and you can use it as a cool down as well after exercise. Stretch down 15-20 minutes. Also, some light aerobic activities are good for warm-ups. 10-15 on the stationary bike or the treadmill, and what's becoming more popular are the elliptical cross trainers. Yeah, you see in the gyms and health care facilities, 10-15 minutes on that before or after, and it's also good for cardiovascular.
Okay, let's talk about aerobic exercise versus anaerobic exercise. Dr. Meotcer, first of all, what's the difference between those two things?
The two different components of exercise: aerobic, where you're moving the muscles, walking, biking, stepper, elliptical machine, running, anything along those lines is an aerobic exercise. Anaerobic, weight training, where you're basically doing resistance type movements. Both of those type of activities should be involved in a complete wellness program and an exercise program, and definitely in a weight loss program. I see many individuals in the office looking for weight loss. They're already walking, they're already biking, they're doing a stepper. The body gets used to that level of activity, and it really hits a plateau. If they add some weight training, studies have shown they can increase their metabolism another 7% or more. Speeding up their metabolism helps them with the weight loss. They'll build lean tissue, which is more efficient tissue. They'll burn calories more efficiently. So anyone interested in weight loss, general fitness, even just maintenance and slowing the aging process should be involved in a lightweight training program. They can do it at home with dumbbells. They can do it with stretch bands. Doesn't matter what they use, cans of soup, this coffee cup, whatever. But they should need to do that program as well as the aerobic exercise, the walking, the biking, things along those lines.
Okay, let's go back to the phone lines. Again, toll free, we're available for you. We're live. We're talking about diet, exercise, and supplements. 1-888-634-7488. On the line, joining us from Pittman, Bonnie. Welcome to Sports Doctor.
Hi.
Hello, Bonnie. How are you?
Good.
Your question about diet, fitness, exercise, supplements?
This question is for Dr. Meotcer. I wanted to know how he feels about teenagers taking creatine who are doing bodybuilding.
Teenagers using creatine for bodybuilding.
For bodybuilding. That's a good question, Bonnie. And we were just discussing it before the show. Andy and I, who are both bodybuilders, Dave, a bodybuilder also, where it's really grown at exponential proportion. Where I think every adolescent that comes to my office, every teenager asks about creatine. Should I use it? I tell them that we don't know enough yet about it. The research is being done now, the long-term studies as far as potential harmful side effects. So far, it looks fairly safe, but it is a new product. It has not endured the test of time, so I do caution all the individuals I see, all the athletes, the individuals looking to use that product, about the potential side effects: abdominal distress, bloating, stomach distress, water retention, and also potentially long-term problems with that product. So I try to steer them away. I try to get them onto a good nutritional program. I try to get them on a proper protein intake and a good weight training program so they can do it naturally without the use of anything that could be potentially harmful.
Thank you for the question, Bonnie. Now, you were a natural bodybuilder. Would creatine be a part of that, or is that a no-no?
I still think it's kind of on the fence, and I think because of the potential harm that it could do, I would steer away from that. And I think that particular supplement, I was always old school. When I was into the competition, I would have a protein powder that I would use. I would use a multiple vitamin, maybe some amino acids, which you get in food anyway. So basically, food products were my supplements.
Okay, talking about diet, exercise, supplements, 1-888-634-7488 on Sports Doctor tonight. Andy, what are some of the reasons athletes get injured?
All right, Joe, without getting into the traumatic blows of the contact sports, I think one of the main athletes that we see the problem is deconditioning. You know, they're not ready for the season. We'll see a pitcher come in with a shoulder problem, and basically they're sedentary all winter, and then when the springtime comes, they start throwing with everything they have. Right away, they have a shoulder injury, and we have there is a perfect rotator cuff program that we use for muscle and balance that actually help baseball players and other overhand athletes. As far as like the running sports and the contact sports, baseball, I mean basketball, football, soccer, and hockey. Then again, I'm talking about the younger kids. They won't do anything in the off season, and then when the season comes, here they are. They're running sprints as fast as they can go, and then they start doing lateral movement activities. They end up with a lower extremity injury, an ankle, a knee, a hamstring. This can all be avoided with a good strength and conditioning program in the off season, and also it helps enhance the ability of the athlete to become a better player. I know coaches and some athletic trainers in high school whose teams, wrestling and football, time and time again every year have great teams and with less injuries because they have a great strength conditioning program in the off season, so it works.
So strength and conditioning is year-round, basically. Back to the phone lines we go. We've got Mo on the line from Sicklerville. Mo, welcome to Sports Doctor.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm a fat person.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm big. I like 5'4", 350, and I'm going on a cruise next month, and I want to lose about 200.
Okay. Nothing that can help. But someone that is that overweight, what should their thought process be about losing weight? I mean, is this something that there is probably no quick solution, is there?
You would want to start with a low load, prolonged duration, like a walking program to start off. You know, something like what Landy said, you want to start with like a nice stretching program before. Something that's easy on the joints, like you said, if he's that overweight, you know, he's going to try to play basketball or do any kind of other activity, you're going to cause injury. So first thing, you cut out the snacks late at night. That's one of the major things. Eat your major meals in the earlier part of the day, and just eat smaller portions more times throughout the day. And don't eat after like 7 o'clock at night.
What about the time one exercises? There's two schools of thought. Some people like to do it first thing in the morning. Some people last thing in the day. Is there one that's better, or is this an either-or type situation?
I think it has to fit your lifestyle. Basically, I get up early in the morning, 5:36 in the morning, so I could be home with Sarah and Frank and my wife for breakfast, and we get together and have our nice breakfast as a family and do our protein shakes if it's that certain morning. But so it depends on your lifestyle. I always felt that later in the day, maybe your energy level's a little bit higher. But if you don't have that luxury, if your workday runs late, if you have to be home or you're working, so I try to get patients up, out of bed early in the morning, get it in first thing. Then you're not going to miss it later on, because I have many patients who come to me and say, I'm trying to get a regular program in, but I always miss. I never get in there after work. Something always comes up. So if you do it first thing in the morning, bright and early, you get it in.
What days do you take your protein shakes?
Tomorrow morning, actually, is a protein shake day, as a matter of fact.
Is that like when you do certain exercises, you take that, or how does that work?
No, I just got in a habit when I'm, after the gym, I'll have a protein shake if I can't get a full meal in. I still believe that protein should come from your food. I think it's absorbed the best. The egg white is a perfect protein. Help make egg white omelets, with chicken, turkey, fish. But if you're in a rush, that's where the protein supplement comes in to play if you can't get the meal in. And my children just kind of got into it by a couple of years ago saying, "Can I take a taste of that?" And I would dilute it a bit, and they loved them. They absolutely loved them. They're chocolate flavored, and but low level protein, so it's not any risk, and they get a kick out of it. So Friday morning I walk in the door from the gym, and Daddy, it's protein shake day, and we're on.
There you go. All right, back to the phone lines. Let's talk to Emily in Cherry Hill. Emily, thanks for waiting. Are you there?
Yes, hello?
Yes.
What's the best vitamin to take when you want to lose weight? Any supplements or anything, like large amounts of vitamin C or something like that?
Is there any connection to vitamins and weight loss?
I think that just a basic multiple vitamin would be fine for any program. I think you have to be careful of some of the fat burners that are out on the market, some of the weight loss supplements.
What is the stacker? I mean, you see that all the
stacker,
time. Is this
and
good?
Ripped Fuel and Thin Cut and everything. You really have to be careful because they contain ephedra, ephedrine, mahuang, all herbal supplements that speed up the metabolism, but there have been reported cases of cardiac problems from all of those. Seizures, heart attacks, heart arrhythmias with all of those products. So the risk is low. There's a few reported cases, but again, it's kind of like playing Russian roulette with your health.
Is it like a drug? Is that basically what it is?
It is. Herbal products are drugs, and people think because they're herbal, they're all natural, they're sold over the counter, they're safe, but that's not necessarily true. And you really want to speak to your physician before taking any herbal product, and I would absolutely avoid those products that are in the fat-burning.
Okay, back. Let's try some email questions that came in on WPSJTV@AOL.com. Do lactose-free or soy milk provide calcium? Lactose-free milk.
Yes. Yeah, my understanding is you can get calcium from any source. So I believe that the lactose-free products, all they're doing is taking a certain enzyme out of that, so people that are lactose intolerant can still tolerate that product. My understanding, the calcium stores are still there. So the lactose-free products are fine. Soy, interesting about soy, it's an excellent source of natural estrogen. A lot of the ladies that come in are the perimenopausal, they don't want to take hormone replacement, and they turn to soy products, tofu, soy milk, soy products, even eating the soybeans and the snacks that are out there made of soy. And it does help to boost their natural estrogen levels and helps them with some of those menopausal symptoms, the hot flashes and flushes.
Okay, got a question from Cheryl in Washington Township. She's read that certain exercises can actually make you bigger instead of slimming down. What are the best exercises to trim her legs? First of all, is that true? Some make you bigger and some slim?
Well, if she wants to trim her legs down, she should. She can actually, for a woman, she can do weight training, light weight training. Most women, if they're not doing any kind of anabolic steroid type, they'll get muscular, but they won't really get big unless she has unless it's genetics. But if she does cardiovascular with some light weight training, she should be all right.
Okay, we're going to give out the number for the offices at Cross Keys Physical Therapy Center and Sports Medicine Center because they're offering free evaluations for the next 2 weeks. We talked about this earlier in the program. If you'd like to take advantage of this offer, free evaluation, you need to schedule your appointment to do that. In Sicklerville, their number is 856-728-1900. Woodbury, it is 856-853-0988. And in Berlin, it is 856-719-8111. And I understand we're about 4 weeks away from opening the Washington Township office. Want to thank our guests this evening for being with us, Dr. Meotcer with Family Medicine Associates in Williamstown, Morristown, and Vineland. Also, Robert Ent and Andy Sholari. We'll be back 2 weeks from tonight with another edition of Sports Doctor. Until then, I'm Joe Chicano. Stay well.